my God, guys, it's been approximately 2 weeks since we actually did Random Thoughts. The last video we did was the wrap-up. I would just like to say, before this particular episode starts, these are really my random thoughts, but they don't come from me. I'm just going to give it how it is, right? Anyway, without further ado, there is so much we have to get into. It's so much. I hope we can get into all of it in the shortest time possible. My name is Dinavia's One, and welcome to my Random Thoughts. Some says here at Mbontandikide Mokutia. When some tells you to le Mokutia, but let's not even start from there. I wanted to do this chronologically. So last video I was doing, we said Tugenda Kulonda. It was the upcoming presidential election, and we all were like hip hip hooray, Tugenda Kulonda. And come the 13th day of January, that is when the drama started. Internet, from the 12th. It was shaky from the 12th. Then on the 13th, it was on the 14th, it was we were in North freaking Korea. Yo, I just want to take a minute and tell UCC and the government of Uganda, we stand. Twakiriza, we humbled down. We understand you have so much power. I have been belittling it because, yo, do you know what it means to have zero access and just zero access to information? Do you know what it felt like? On the 14th day, we all got up, we was ready, we rallied up the truth the day before, and then we showed up at the polling stations. We got to the polling stations, and then the polling stations themselves had some rules as given by the EC. So we show up at the polling station, nobody knows what's happening where. It felt like I was alone in a tiny space called a country, because I didn't know if my neighbor 2 blocks down is good. I didn't know if in town it's good, or if Justin Intinda from Chisasi is good. We only had to rely on the information given to us by the government. I was like, he turned off the internet, turned off mobile money, turned off direct phone calls. You could barely get a direct phone call in. It was kureze. It was crazy. So then we did the voting on the 14th, and on the 15th, it's still going on up to today. But the biggest thing was the presidential race. How are you? You traversed the whole of this continent, and these Ugandans disrespected you by giving you 3%. Hey. Omusajja yafuna jigazi, omusajja yafuna enchacho, omusajja nga yatambulira mbigere, and you gave him 3%. Do you remember what I was telling all of you? Mulekerawo okwonoona obululu. Nabagamba obululu bwa power, obululu bwa simanya tumukunde, obululu bwa muntu, obululu bwa who else? Katumba oye simanya ne Mayambala. You know, I didn't know Mayambala was a presidential candidate. Well, I was shocked, and this is how I found out that there was a presidential aspirant called Mayambala. On the 14th day, I turned on UBC, and they have all their posters on, and I'm like, wait, he was also, wow. And the chick, what's her name? Oh, I forget her name. We all knew they were not going to do anything. We all knew it, but anyway. Next thing we know, enters Byabakama. Now this is where the interesting things happen. So on the 14th, I go to bed, and the Noop is taking situations via Kampala. I'm like, ratatata, it is happening. I was alinga sawa satweze chiro secho Ibra. Nengamba kampumuzo mutwe. Nadamo zuku kakumunana. And Tiba Haburwa was at 61%. I'm like, oh. The silent majority came out. Oh, now don't forget, we had nothing else to rely on but Isi's declaration. So I turned on the TV, and then Mr. Byabakama, that was days after when they said they had finished compiling. And then he gives us the results, and he tells us who the winner is. I'm like, oh, okay. Congratulations, they are losers and winners, Sicho. But then here's where it started to baffle all of us. About 1,200 polling stations were not considered. They were not considered. They voted, or they didn't vote. 2, I think, was it a district or 2, somewhere in Kamwenje? They also did their own thing there. And so he comes out and he tells us, okay, this guy won. We're like, okay, we can accept defeat, truly. So show us how he won. Huh? That is when Biabakama had a moment of clarity. It's like, I show what? I say that guy has won. We're like, so let's get this straight, Mr. Biabakama. You announced he has won, which, you know, it is what it is. He has won. But then we ask you to give us DL forms from each polling station, and then to not just stop at that. According to the Constitution and the law, you're supposed to give us the final results a week after the entire election. You're supposed to give us, like, you're supposed to throw it our way. Now we're asking for the DR forms. You're like, huh? Then we're telling you, so how did you know he won? You're like, because he won. Wow. Wow. Only Electoral Commission Uganda will tell you we have a winner, and then when you ask them to prove how they won, they tell you we are compiling the election votes. So how is he a winner? Anyway, Biabakama Dan did his thing. We were all very confused. We're asking the same thing. How are these guys getting Oblulu Okuve Karamoja in Nakaseke, Burundi, Ngatebaina internet? Then he came out and he told us they had their own system. The only question with that was, what done, sister? I thought you were trying to be as open as you could be. You could, anyway, it is what it is. You all have seen that mess. Anyway, before we know it, Bobi Wine is under house arrest. It's been going on until when the court ruled and they said whatever is happening at his home is wrong, it's illegal, blah, blah, blah. That's been going on. I will get into that much later. Still dealing with what has happened in this past couple of days. It was a lot. So they announced the winner. And then we're still waiting for the internet. Day 1, day 3, day 4, nothing comes on. And then boom, VPN is turned back on. Now I need to take a minute. And after congratulating you, UCC, and the government of Uganda and showing us how much power you have, I need to ask, who was the genius that sat behind this? Because I bet you URA is not happy. I think URA is there like, the fuck? We need that damn OTT. Because after all the internet is off, Bobi Wine decides that he's going to go on Facebook Live. I'm like, as he should. He feels he has some stuff to say. Let the man through. But remember, internet is not yet officially back on in the UG. Oh yeah, if you're online right now, son, you're on that VPN, power to the people. Anyway, holla at us on any of our social media platforms. For all of you who do want to advertise with us, trust me, it's your money's worth. Everybody who puts their adverts on this episode will tell you. They make money, lots of money. So for now, Mr. Biabakama did all of that. And then we're still wondering about how all this process has gone through. Big shout out to all the journalists, especially Andrew Chambagero, who had the guts to ask an important question, like as though he expected Biabakama to give him an honest answer, like, are you kidding me? Child, are you? Anyway, Bobi Wine goes live. He had 50K viewers. Now let's do some mathematics here, kind people, in favor of URA. So 50K viewers, let's convert that into taxes, OTT. If each viewer had paid 200 shillings, 200 shillings for each viewer, that would have come to how much? About 10 mil? 10 mil, easy, in an hour, easy 10 mil. I'm like, okay, well, the government doesn't need this OTT. Why did they even shove it down our throats? Because, I mean, that's what you're showing us now. You don't need this OTT, it's of no consequence. Or for now, you can accept the loss. But for a country that is in debt as heavy as my country, I would expect us to be pulling all these strings and these finances. But anywho, so he's announced all of that in Charlie Kwecho. And then he addressed us. Ibra, what about address you? Banaye nali ntudde eka omanyi muzaddewo bw'awoggana ng'okimanyi wayonoonye nali ntudde eka ne neezinga mu ntebe bwe nti ne ŋŋamba wowe bagenda otukuba. Oh, the president-elect came out to address the nation, but what shocked me is that he was not happy. I expected him to come out like the victorious person that he was. I mean, he's the victor in this thing. I expected him to come, but Uganda, we are going to do this again for the next 5 years. I'm securing your future. All these things are going to be put in place. No, child. He said those ones too, but it was more of we shall crush you. Someone always wonders why I only take the threats out of my president's speeches, because here's why. I believe presidents are supposed to console us. I believe our presidents are the ones who maintain calm, peace, and level-headedness. So I expect them to always come out and tell us, it's going to be good, we're going to do this, but mine comes out with a threat. Abi, what do you want me to do now? What? He said he'll crush us. See, if you watch that, but that also happened, you know? It's about Sharia, my dear people, and the most expensive commodity in this country, in the 5 days after the election, the most expensive commodity. It wasn't gold, it wasn't silver, it wasn't Bitcoin, it wasn't money in the bank, it wasn't real estate. Guess what, people? It was DR forms. Vanange! DR forms. Up to today, they're still a big thing. They're still a big thing. We're still asking Biabakama to show us all the DR forms so that we can compute this shit, keep it moving, accept our loss, those of us who voted otherwise. You know, no sour graping. Anyway, after all of that is still going on, I watched a clip on UBC. NRM supporters came out, you know, to celebrate. Did you watch that? I was like, where are all of them? I was in shock. I'm like, oh, they must really, you know, have this COVID situation on lock. Because on Ginger Road, the ones I saw were like about 50 or something, you know, and you know what? It is what it is. They won. According to Biabakama, they won. What else are we finna do? To piping down from all of that, they allow us to have our VPN back. They turn on some of the servers because it was just going to be ridiculous. How is the banking sector going to work without the internet? How is the hospital going to work without internet? How is government entities? How are they going to work? They're already slow with the internet. You go to any government institution trying to get something done, it's slow with normal internet. Now imagine what it's going through right now with this slow internet. Hoi! Anyway, I guess they figured and thought that through. As we're trying to get through all the what happened, people are sending videos on social media showing election fraud. I am not going to get into the election fraud right now because I'm waiting for it to be signed, sealed, and delivered. Stamped, because as I said, that very first state address was enough to put me in a corner. I love my life. I love my babies. I'm not about to go there. I'm done doing this shit. I'm done. Like, you can't play. These next 5 years are not going to be easy. Feba simanyambo, I'm opposition, proudly opposition. Bagendo to sabule mi games sigadde bikwate ttaka mundeke. Kanjirindire ita. Anywho, tuba tukyali awo ne batusula mu ka distraction. Ntagali. Retired Reverend Ntagali, former Archbishop, innit? He was caught, apparently, Ntagaling another man's wife, who also happens to be a pastor. And then Uganda went like, whoa, it's the worst thing that has ever happened. How is that even a possibility? Ibra, omwala wamulaba owantagali gwe yayendako Chiboko fire. That is a reason enough. Secondly, did you see the husband to the woman who Ntagali stole the woman from? Self-explanatory. Not that he's in a better situation physically, but why are you guys all acting like this didn't happen? Bujingo just did it. Bujingo just did it. We have seen so many pastors do this. Either Nebali Akufloko, where I felt like that was a big ass distraction, because as that was going on, I remembered that there's actually weird pressures. Ibra, have you noticed it? There's a weird pressure between the church and the ruling party. Hey, that one is also going to be an interesting one, because the way things are piling up, Lumumba and what's that guy, Chiwanda, apparently for them, they believe that the church is the one that caused NRM's defeat in Central. I'm like, what? The church now? It's the church? I tried to connect the two. I'm like, oh, wait. So secrets are being outed, or is it a threat? What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? But that's also going to be some interesting ish, because I know it's going to come out. It's going to come out. Anyway, Bobby Wine was under house arrest from the very day. He was under house arrest. I don't know if he's still under house arrest, because I know the court told them to move, but then judging from what I have been seeing, reports coming in, is that it's like they just doubled up the security. I'm like, I just have questions. This is to EC, this is to police, this is to the reigning president at the moment and government. You know, this one goes also to the different hands of our government. If you say that this election was honestly free and fair, why is there so much theatrics? Why is there so much going on? The internet shut off, you know? People not being able to walk out of their houses because for every 5 seconds you move, you're finding army personnel, LDUs, guys with bazookas. I'm like, wait, where am I? Why is all of this going on? And of course, police will come out and it's like, you see, we're trying to stop because we've had intel that there's some people who want to do this and do that and do this. I'm like, sure. Because I expected if there was going to be any type of drama, that the drama was going to come as soon as we could access the internet. Because y'all shared those videos, and some of those videos are so disgusting and so despicable that we have taken a moment out to ask the Electoral Commission to clarify on this evidence that you have all seen. And the EC has nothing to tell us yet. They said they're looking into it. Looking into what? How you tell me you're going to look into something? You already declared the winner. So now, what? You look into it and it turns out it's the truth. Are you going to undeclare him a winner? Let's just ask. Let's pace with me here. Let's just pace together. You know, let's just try to pace together here. So, anyway, so Bobby Wine's situation still goes on. A lot went on. I know most of you who have gotten the chance to get, you know, the internet. I've seen what's going on. I don't even want to dwell on that. I feel like I just want to rush through all of this so that we can catch up. It's too much been going on. So FDC and who else? Jammed the Electoral Commission's, they're going to court again? Who has ever won that? Who? I know Bobby Wine has a track record for winning all his court cases, but okay. Anyway, that too. I want to send shout outs to Mr. What's his name? Mr. Cedric Babu's entire family. Bambi be Simba o tata o mwana o bane mama o bana abaganda be. Mwana ne batabawa. Abana Uganda mujoga. Ene mujoga. We're still coming down from that and everybody is preaching peace. I choose peace. I choose peace. Y'all even started that hashtag. But it wasn't even a hashtag. It's actually a full government campaign. And let me say this. Y'all may get me wrong here. We all choose peace. Ibra, don't you choose peace? Don't you want peace? Even if I asked a bird seated on a tree right now, we all choose peace. At the end of the day. But you see, the irony of this is, and I tweeted about this, it's so ironic that we, the people, are being told to choose peace, and yet when you step out of your house, what you see is the opposite of peace. It doesn't balance it out for me. I'm inside my house, I'm watching TV, we are all Ugandans, we choose peace, this season, let's choose peace. Okay, fine, I hear you. Now let me go out to the store and get me a pack of smokes. Soon as I step out for a pack of smokes, there are 30 LDUs, 6 policemen, 2 plain-clothed, a full mamba, ngetuddeko bazooka ziri zendaba mu firimu. For every 5 paces you walk. That's the scenario. So tell me, is that supposed to invoke me wanting the peace? Or is that supposed to make me choose peace because I have no other option? Don't get me wrong. We all want to choose peace. I choose peace any day, anytime. I have babies. I ain't finna run. Ensiko najiri munga taina internet. I cannot deal with it. No? We all choose peace, but it's the irony behind it for me. We cannot choose peace if the state only constantly shows us violence. Every time we try to ask for what we want, the state responds with violence. And then the same state tells us to choose peace. Now, I may be one of those girls who has split personalities and shit, but all 3 of my split personalities are split in decision making on this. They don't get it. You telling me to choose peace, I step out, there's a guy with the bazooka, I'm like, okay, do I have to choose it? Like, yeah, girl, you're staring down the barrel of a gun, you may have to choose peace. You can't shove something like that down anyone's throat. So forgive me, I find it very, very funny. As that is still going on and different different entities are talking about it. Now we all know the MTV Music Awards, the MTV Africa Music Awards are supposed to be held in Uganda, right? So on the 26th of February, you all remember the episode I did about the letter M. That is now our former independence monument was colonized by MTV. So that's going on, and then it starts on Twitter. With all the injustices that have come out, with all the police brutality that is coming to the light, with all the deaths, with all the mysterious missing people, with all the weird, disgusting stuff that has gone on in my country for just the past weeks, all of that rears its ugly head on social media. MTV comes out and they announce that DJ Khaled is going to be hosting it virtually. First of all, I want to say F you, MTV base, F you. You cannot disrespect us like that. Now, someone is going to come out and say, even if you look at the history of all the older things, yeah, it has always been an international act from Hollywood hosting them and then maybe like a sideline act. If you are saying it is MTV Africa Music Awards, why don't you give us the chance to showcase what we have? Do you want to tell me that Africa has nobody who could have actually commanded the same amount of viewers? That's just plain disrespectful, if you ask me, even the hosting country. But you know what? I will excuse us on the hosting bit because I looked at what we have to offer as Uganda for a co-host. I'm sorry, I cannot begin using Douglas Luanga's English or pick and play. Munansonyiwa. Oluzungu lwa Douglas Luanga lwa piki pule aberanga atola ku lusaniya. Who else do we have? Who else do we have? Chamagero. Oh, he's going to sound like he's reading the news. Who? Didn't? Yeah, I like Didn't. She's a vibe. But then they're going to say we can't just have one girl. We want this, we want that. So I don't think they'll give that to her. You know, it's just, come on, MTV, you can do better. If you're making something for us, let us own it. Let us feel empowered enough to be like, yeah, this is ours. You know, when the Grammys are going on, those are yours. You know, when the BET Awards are going on, they feel like, yes, this is black entertainment. It's for us. And then now you're finna do something in Africa for Africa and still cannot give us the respect we deserve by giving us an African host because DJ Khaled is DJ Khaled. I know it sounds dumb for me to be complaining. Anyway, that happens. Social media goes onto DJ Khaled's Twitter handle and they bombard him with everything that's been happening in the country and they guilt trip him. He had to take the tweet down because he had tweeted that he was going to be hosting them. This particular show is apparently supposed to be a virtual show in a country that has no internet. But what's even more confusing for me is there are people on Twitter who are trying to defend it, and they're trying to push the show. They're trying to hype the show. How are you going to host a virtual show ngate mulina internet? Mwena muzungira ku VPN. How is that going to be? Oh, maybe Chiwanda and his people already figured out on that demo genda jituterako. Do you think, by the way, Ibra, do you think they can do that? Because at this point, I don't feel like I'm in a country. I feel like I'm in my daddy's house, and he makes the rules. So who knows, maybe on the 26th of February, they'll give us the internet just to watch DJ Khaled host the MTV Africa Music Awards in the comfort of his home for Africa in Uganda. That's some bullshit. Anyway, so different people coming out to say, Uganda, how can you do this? You know, the tourism industry, it impacts so many lives. It brings in this much money. Yo, dummies. It's been COVID. It's been COVID. We don't expect to bounce back ASAP. It's been COVID. You're trying to tell us you cannot stop this because we're going to lose so much revenue. It's Uganda. Losing revenue is one of our best things. We do that so well. I mean, we have lost funds, we have lost government funds, we have funds that are inexplicably taken, and we're just like, Zagenze, okay. Netutambula, you want to tell me the tourism industry is beefing and booming? Nobody wants to come here. We got so much shit going on. Who are trying to preach to us the whole, this is wrong, your image, we're going to have an image even after all these elections, blah, blah, blah. Yes, we're going to have it. We're going to have it, but what we're not going to do is play pretend that there are people who are not hurting. And there has never been anything wrong with that. So yes, it would be such a good opportunity for us to host the mamas, but let us not play down the fact that since November, people have been hurting. Mothers have lost fathers, sons, children. Children have lost parents, you know? A lot has gone on. Freedom has been denied by everyone. And for me, I think what scared me the most about this election is that for the first time, I actually felt like a hostage in my own country. I felt like a hostage. Because imagine the 5 days you didn't have VPN internet access, right? You couldn't get a job abroad. You couldn't feed yourself in case you work online. You couldn't even just pick up the phone and call somebody abroad, or just pick up the phone and call your neighbor and tell him, man, biganyerero, mpereza ku mobile money. Do you know how helpless? Do you know how helpless that is? For a person who stands up and says proudly that I'm a citizen, that I contribute. Don't even get me started on that conversation. I felt like the transgressions against my personal freedoms and my basic human rights was stripped of me, and nobody gave a shit to this day. But then, like I said, being a Ugandan it's an extreme sport. You know. What else? Of course, we are shooting this episode at the beautiful Estella Gardens down in Nigeria. In case you want some place that is quaint, that is peaceful, but still in suburbia, this is the place to come to. I know I have forgotten so many things. Yo was begging me to do this ish. I felt I had to respond. What's your problem? And yeah, I took the time out to show you my snatched waist. I couldn't breathe right today, but we did this. Apparently, Parliament worked on a public holiday, which was yesterday, the NRM Liberation Day. And as they worked on that day, of all the things that they could sit down and think about and bring to light and consider to do, the Parliament now, they said they want to give MPs cars that are going to cost us about 300 and something billion. I sat back and I'm like, wait. Ibra, do they tell Baba Wama Motoka? Where do these cars go? Because personally, I thought Zine Motoka Teziva Zizo. When the state buys it, right? State ekuwadde. So, bwoba ova mu yafisi, oyina jireka, sicho. So where are the old cars? Musoke muve ku motoka enkadde za the previous guys and all of that. Batuwa amamotoka mu COVID tuchamulimu naye batuwa amamotoka mu COVID government nga yasaba emmotoka. We want cars, we want pickups, we want cars, we want ambulances, we want cars, we want pickups. Where are those ones? Besides, can't our MPs carpool? Like if Medad Sengona lives like in Ichisas, and then also Sagirinya lives in Intinda, can't they pick up Medad and Sagirinya in the same car? Why do they need? Why does each of them need a car? Why? 300 and something billion? Have you seen how deep in debt we are? You want to spend 300 and something billion. When I go to a hospital, back in the day, mulago yali yatuyambangako. Ngesobola kuwa quinini, ngesobola kuwa chloroquine, ne Panado. What else did they used to give? Aspirin. Ngobisanga yebyo jebiri. Kubaze zendwadde zitumenyanga abana Uganda. Kati oyingira mulago ne bakugamba we don't have your medicine, but it is available in the private wing. That is under the same building. You're like, what the fuck? Ndi mulago sicho. Why are you telling me to go and buy it from a private wing? It's under the same damn building. But no, Parliament, on a holiday, they thought, they're like, yeah, let's give them cars. Someone tell me, who chooses the speaker? Yeah, because I think we need to change her. I think she's entertained so much bullshit. I think Mrs. Kadaga, you are officially failing us. Yeah. And whenever I remember what Kadaga said about changing the term limit, nyigira dala, aniamu choosing a speaker. Kubana eba andi tule Senate kuba akalulu. Bandi tule Senate kuba akalulu. Like, for real, son. Tetundaba manyoba tunafuna vaccine ya COVID ya tutwala. Our lives are held like this. And what's even more scary, in my country, it's not like every country. Countries have hope that when jidwala ngenda genda mudwaliro bandabirire, not in my country. In my country, bolwala COVID yogenda mulago bakutunulire nga toina sente. Ng'omuntu wa wansi. But you are considering giving out 300 and something billion to buy cars. But you can't sit down and say whatever amount. Is that inauguration? Is that emotokaba MP? To soke to zireke, to gule vaccine. Not even that. Okay, that might be just too much. Now you have a bigger plan for us. Excuse me, my bad. Governments work in the silence. How about, can't we get that money and pay the frontline workers who have been crying? Y'all don't pay them? Or how about we finally pay these teachers who have been crying for their money zemwaba at the peak of COVID? How about that? Or how about that 7 billion and 300 and something billion shillings that you want to spend on these luxuries? Or how about you get that and put it in school so that we can have good guidelines and SOPs so that the education system can wake the fuck up again? How about that? Like, what is wrong with my country, man? We shall crush you to Veyonayo. I want to welcome Mr. Sagirinya into Parliament. You know, my bad. I remember I sat here and I was like, Ngamulonda watch, but someone educated me and they made it make sense. Okuvalerero. Sagala kuwulira an elite or you urbanites complain about who is in a position of power. Shut up. You have no right. We told you to come out and do one of two things. You either vote or you decide to run for office. Your bougie asses sat your ass home, nemutula nemu watching a campaign okuva bwezatandika mpaka bwe twalonda. And then now you're like, how can you let Segirinya in? Where were you to stand up and say, I am a better option for you? Where were all of you elites? Segirinya did something that all of you all of you don't have the balls, the kahunas to do. He understood what he wanted. He understood he wants to run in an office of power. He understood he wants to serve the people. Kakati gwe gamwante teeka ali Bulaaya olyeyo watuuleeyo. Oyina vast experience in so many things that if you came back home and offered us your services as our leader, maybe, just maybe, we could actually become a better society. But no, your very, very itchy Twitter board fingers could only come out to say Segirinya is not the right situation. Fuck you. Yes. Fuck you. I'm trying to be polite with this fuck you. Like, fuck you. Come on, Yoko dear. Whoever you are. You have no right. And that's what they always say. Be the change that you want to see. So you want to see change, but you don't want to be the change? Shut up, please. Whoever got into office, Mubaleke Hildebrand is also an MP. Sorry, Amelia. Omusajja yakubira kayimba ka campaign ne kakuyingizaawo naddamu ate nakwekubira Yesu. If that is what they call you can have your cake and eat it. I'm just saying, Amelia. But I like how the fact that she considered and she said the truth. She was like, I think abantu batukoye ate nga kye kituufu tubakoye. Tubakoye mwena from the answers to the stigma. Tubakoye mukadiye. Ebizibu byaffe temukyabitegeera. Our biggest population, 80%, are the youth. You do not know how to click best with us. And that's why you call us anarchists. That's why you call us hooligans. That's why you call us all these things. Mutetumanyi, we are taking our peace for granted. Do you know why? Because we are lost in freaking translation. It's like a teenager trying to make sense to an 80-year-old about a TikTok video and why TikTok is important. Just think about it like that. 16 is old. They have the spirit of discernment. Give or take, a 13-year-old who has just discovered TikTok, trying to explain to a 90-year-old why TikTok is the shit. That is my government and its people. Best metaphor I could bring up. So it's not in bad faith that we hate you. We don't hate you. We've simply figured out the fact that there's a disconnection in communication. There's a disconnect between us, the people, the biggest majority being 80% the youth, and the people in power. The people in power are like, no, we're your bosses. We the youth who sit at back, we're like, you are, but you're also not our bosses. You're supposed to be giving us a service. So that is where the clashing comes from. Like, if anybody asked me to talk to my president right now, to Savo, like, advise him, simple. And the youth can actually flip in favor of anybody that will give them let me list them below. The few things below, Mr. President. If you want to know why the youth are so loud and hooligans, like you say, and all these things, the youth want to be able to finish university, as hard as it is and as expensive as it is, and be able to get a job, Mr. President. The youth also want to be able to know that if I go to the hospital and I have an ailment, but I am broke, and given the fact that I'm a citizen who pays taxes on something here or there, the government hospital that is supposed to be looking after me can afford me with my medication, and the facilities are going to look good because, I pay my taxes. You want me to pay my taxes, but you don't want to give me the services that these taxes are being collected for. Y'all think I'm stupid, Mr. President? I'm just saying. Secondly, the youth want to be able to live in their country and not be terrified of which big guy sits in which office. We are tired of technical know-who. To make all year. You have one guy running in the same office for the past 55 years. Nigga is old and senile. but you still have him at the helm holding on to it. No, the youth also want an opportune moment. They also want a chance. They also want to try to show you what they can do, but you keep pressing them down. You have pressed the youth of Uganda so down that our youth are going to be house girls and house boys in Arabic countries. These are educated kids. Some of them have degrees, diplomas. They could actually be of service in their nation. You have made it such a bad situation for us to live in, Mr. President. So when we shout, it's not out of anger. It's out of freaking frustration. Mutu nyiga buli wamu mwana. Buli wamu. When you get a job, you have to be worried who is the boss sleeping with. Okay, you also have to be worried because we don't know you. If you have the qualifications, you have to sit back and worry, will I really get this on merit? Or is the boss's second cousin on his uncle's left side going to get this job because she's just a cousin? Mr. President, to be quiet. The thing is not that we hate you. I wish somebody should have told him that. We just want what we want. We want a fair chance at being the citizens our parents told us we were supposed to be. Munjukiranga mukula. Ngatata wo bamugamba ko naye gwe ngabano zadde banji ngomanyi agamba. Nono mwandi bamu president muno. Saga mpola. Muno mulimu president, mulimu lawyer, mulimu doctor. Tutudde nazo degree ewa katata. We have them at home. Those degrees we worked so hard, all the hopes our parents have in us, we're using them back home. So we don't scream, shout, and call you names or any of that stuff because we're just bad kids. Truth is, we are tired of holding it down for the longest time possible and we get no kickback. The only person in this country who never gets kickback is the youth. In all entity, there is no sure deal. Ibro yo sure deal ujomanyi mbwe Uganda, omwana omzala, nagenda nasoma, namala wano, nafuna guno omulimu, na interninga, nakola kino. There is no pattern. Now I know it could be like that for Africa, but not every African countries. And it's not wrong for us to want to be like those other countries. It's not wrong for us to want to be like Angola. It's not wrong for us to be like the Swanas down in Botswana. It's not wrong for us to want to be like any one of them countries because we have the resources, President. We have the resources. We have the gold, we have the oil, we have copper, we have so much. Not forgetting we are a fruit basket. The money is available to change us and our lives. So we are frustrated because we feel like someone put us in a corner and they keep shaking that tin ever so loud. And we can't escape it. The only escape for a youth now, well, the president will say, I told you to be utandike business. Start it with what? With what? Look at the generations you have amongst the common man. Omwana yasoma taina mulimo, tatawe yayiyaza mwana kusoma yete yasoma sibyaliko. Tatawe ye nokusoma teyakulaba. We are that young a nation. We cannot say we have over 6-7 generations. We are that young a nation. So when you put all these things into perspective, President, I don't think you're supposed to be telling us we're hooligans or you'll crush us. I think you really need to live up to how and why you call us Yobazukulu, though I find that disturbing. I think you finally really need to be a grandparent and sit down. Webuze. Abantaddeko olukongo baagala ki? Provide these things and we're good. Walai, we're good. Ibrahim gebye bintu babirese. Tobere, okay? I just wanted to clarify on that. And that's not just for the president. That goes to you if you've been in parliament for too long. That goes to you if you have been a minister in service for too long. We have ministers who entered service when the NRA left when they left the Ansiko. In 1986, case in point, Mr. Sam Kutesa, you have been in government forever. Tell me when the young kids are ever going to want to be a part of their politics. We have old... Someone tell me how we are still... Mr. Mutavire is still going strong. A Bank of Uganda, have you seen that man? No disrespect. But when are these young kids that are starting to learn about the banking sector, the finance sector, hedge funds, Wall Street, Silicon Valley, they are that eager. They are taking all this information in. When are they going to get a chance to serve our nation? You're always holding on to everything. So when we complain, it is not because we are ungrateful. It is because we are looking for something to be grateful for, and it's not the ya. Techidi yo. There's not an African, no, there's not a Ugandan who is going to tell you amanyol nakulwencha weruna agenda. Fena tuberanga kulinya lya SC. Bya mukama yagera. Yes, tutambulira ko that. We move on hope and a prayer. So, given the fact we have 5 years to choose peace, 5 years of a new government in its old self, I think that is the direction you all need to take. Tubakoye, cause muludewo nyo ate mukulwawo kwamwe mulemedwa tutegeera. It's like being in a bad relationship, you know, where you're stuck with somebody who just doesn't get you. They just don't get you. Eventually you're going to be like, that's it, I've had it, I'm done. We need fresh minds that are going to almost think like we do. But if you're going to keep appointing the younger ones, the older ones, the same cuts have used the same tricks for 35 years and then some. Do you know what it means omuntu okubba mu government yesose n'akubba mu yokubiri n'akubba mu yokusatu n'eyokuna n'oddamu n'omuwabbe? Mr. President, that's why we are angry. That you see all these things going on and you don't do nothing, but you want to be angry at us for being angry. That's hella unfair. Mr. President, I bet you, whenever they say, how much money has disappeared so far? Bank of Uganda, oh, they bought pens. Each pen was 5 billion. No one says shit. The Muhaga situation, Takalia UBC, no one says shit. Centers Abasoma. No one says shit. Workers have not yet been paid. No one says shit. EC is doing this. No one says shit. We don't have enough power supply, but we're giving it to Kenya. No one says shit. We want someone to tell us some shit. That's it. We want someone to stand up and hold whoever is accountable. You tell me tens worth billions of shillings flew away and not a damn soul is arrested? Come on. You expect too much from us as citizens. Maybe we expect too much out of the government as citizens too. Ibra, do you think that's it? Yeah, that's also one of them, you know. I just felt like I wanted to have a heart-to-heart. And I feel like this is something that I feel every youth would want to tell to a person in power. We are how we are because we are frustrated. Nothing gives. All you do is take. Nobody is giving back. Not a soul, no one, nothing. But then you expect us to be cool and G? Ibra, don't you have friends who have been jobless for the past 5 years after university with good degrees? I know too many, personally. You know? And I know too many who would love to start businesses up, but they don't have where to start from. And you're going to tell me there are initiatives and government plans and get-rich programs by the government. Yeah, even those initiatives, it is still the people in power and the places in power who get their people to get what they need. Do you dig what I'm saying? They released M-Yoga money. Someone tell me where that money went. Mwazida Bakoneko Street. The rumor was in compounds. They sent out a few flyers. It was a lot of money. Recently, before the elections, I think sometime in September or October, Yoga. We just saw a few photo ops, and then nothing. Then you go out and make Sylvia Yoweri the what now? For wealth creation. Sylvia Yoweri. Wow. I could have a lot to get into on that, but I'm not going to. So yes, to the people in power. Our issue is not your power. Our issue is you're either misusing your power or you're not using it at all. I expect if I was like a president of a nation, bana inempulidambu atetenti ze wabona dofuna mu COVID za flying away. The entire ministry. That is when Kagame would just get the entire ministry and lock it up. Muzisa seme. Not in Uganda. In Uganda bagenda bongere ndala. And it's so funny. The entire election season was, the trending word was SOPs and COVID-19. Campaign season went on, so much bad stuff happened, so many convergings. But whenever I'm looking at the numbers of COVID, I am confused. Don't get me wrong. I actually just lost a friend. I wanted to dedicate this episode to him. Simon Gabirano. He was a fan. And I'm going to miss him. And he died to COVID. Just recently. But something's not adding up for me in the numbers that are provided. But again, I will say it. I don't know how better yet to say it. Wash your hands, social fucking distance. You don't need to see that person that urgently. Just think of it like AIDS back in the day. You only knew the only one who doesn't have it is you. That's my approach towards COVID. I know the only person who's negative is me. So wear your mask. Wash your damn hands. Social distance. Today, government is going to start out clinical trials of a locally produced vaccine for COVID-19. It has been put together by researchers from Mulago and, Makerere Research Institute or something like that. Jokes, wow. Not that I believe, you have to understand, I love my motherland and I believe we can do anything because yes, we are proud African people, but Ibra, if they tell you to take the Ugandan COVID vaccine, will you take it? Sam, will you take the Ugandan COVID vaccine? Why? Why? That shit could have water, pee, ash, like it might come out of the lab, it is a real vaccine. But by the time it gets to the local hospital, marketing manager maybe if they are going to make it in a lotion form, because there is no freaking way I'm letting that shit into my veins. I'm sorry, you all have to try harder than this one, but it's happening. They have clinical trials now. We have requests as citizens to Saba that the above Wamanga. Above is Wamanga. Would like our president to take the very first shot because, didn't you all see what Mr. Joe Biden, Mr. George Bush, all them presidents, Barack Obama, they took their vaccine, the Pfizer vaccine, on national television. I was wondering if we can start with that. Mr. President, you have to earn our trust and make us believe it's safe. So we'd like the president, the vice president, Babyface Wafomubwati, prime minister, in chronological order, down to every parliamentarian. Then we can now bring in the health workers, because we need those ones first. We are not going to give them to you in a trial. What if some shit goes down and we don't have health workers anymore? So yeah, the government should start first. I'm hoping in the police they can first give Mr. Enanga. We semu rounding with the bodies, the 5 arms of government. Take the trial vaccine on national television and we got you. I'll be taking that shit real quick. Imagine. Imagine if you saw like Kahinda Otafire taking the Ugandan one. Go very coach. Mutima guba gwa kaloba gutya. You will get it. It's just a suggestion though. Just leave the health workers out of the trials, you know, the clinical trials. We need them. Yeah. Just today, I said, I must say, come on, we know why Ugandan men do stuff like that. It is always involving a woman or some money. That's the only reason. Okay, with the exception of Chameleon, because we do not know what Chameleon was looking for at that particular moment. The only reason why men convert is it's a woman or it's money. That's simple, so that's not news. Oh, by the way, Vinka yazala. I've not yet confirmed it, but everybody's saying she's a Nakawere. I just want to be like, girlfriend. God damn, it seems the skinny girls know how to ask, like they know how to conceal them stomachs. Because I would never. I'll be 3 months pregnant and this shit will be all over the place. But I heard she did. If she did, congratulations. If it's a kabadi, we don't care. There's so much bullshit going on. We just keep taking it in. Nairem, what was the money bifana nyibi abao ne Hamza? Cause aliom. Anyway, she took time out to celebrate his birthday. If you all had forgotten, it's like I will apply this pressure, Uganda. You will see me happy. You will see me in love. I will post these videos. Y'all think you can forget about me and Hamza? How? Bambi Chameleon, we are sorry, but I thought you knew that you are not going to be a mayor. How did you? Like, Chameleon, seriously. Bloody wang. Tano wang. You thought you could? Okay. Akabonero kali ambulera when nawulira. But he tried. Ragadi, stop this shit. Ragadi todda. Tochigeza todda tetwagala. We have failed you the first time, the second time, the third time, the fourth time. How do you want us to say it? Tukoleka press conference. Tukugamberekera okwesimbawo. Tetugenda kakuwa. Anyway. Biaro, that's been my time. It's coming to rain and Ibra is already signaling me off. Don't forget this episode was proudly sponsored by Moyo Connect. Now it's quite simple. All you have to do is go to support at www.moyoconnect.ug and find out their details. That's at Moyo Connect. In case you want to find out what they do, well, it's quite simple. If you have any businesses that you want to run and you're in the diaspora, if you have somebody you want to look after and you're in the diaspora and you're not sure if the funds you send will make it for their intended purposes, well, they sweep in like knights in shining armor and they most definitely help you do all of this. They delegate it for you and your money is definitely put where it's supposed to be. You want to pay their bills, that is also a possibility with them. If you want to construct a house, that is also a possibility with them. If you want anything and you are not in reach within the country, they are your people. We good? You get that? Yeah, so the link will be in the description below for them. I know you guys keep complaining that I keep forgetting those descriptions. I know we are still a work in progress, people. Hey! He said it! He said it. Anyway, we shall definitely get into all of this stuff because I believe there's so much. I just wanted to give you quick summary of what's happening. So for now though, catch you again on the flip side. My name is Tina Fierce. What? Let's get it. I'm out. Wait, I forgot to do my piece. What the fuck is wrong with me?